Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts King from Tekken 8. And I guess this guy came out a little bit ago. I thought I had one ordered, and then somebody messaged me saying, hey, are you going to review it? And I thought, well, I'm waiting for it, and I looked and it was already in stock everywhere. So I guess I just forgot to order one. But here it is, it's King. This Tekken line has been questionable from Bandai. It's definitely been probably good enough for people who really wanted Tekken 8 figures, but I wouldn't say it's good enough if you are not as into the franchise and not willing to accept as many issues. And I think this guy's kind of the same. There's some really nice stuff going on here, but then there's also some stuff that's pretty rough. So we're going to talk about all of it, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alrighty, before I show you the figure, I do want to show you my package. Nice enough package, except they really hid the figure. Like, that's not the right pose to choose for this, because the figure's behind the cardboard. And I don't need a photo of the figure as much as I want to see the actual figure, so that's a little bit irritating. Here we have a render. This makes him look much better. Skin tone's different, muscularity is different. You know, Bandai. It's not a bad looking figure for sure, but it just doesn't quite look like that. It looks here. It's not bad. The muscularity is pretty close. He's actually pretty good looking in terms of the anatomy. It's just that the renders always make the figures look less good. And the nose, for instance, the snout on the cat mask, it looks really long and skinny compared to the render. So it's just, guys, if you're ever making figures based on video games with renders that are like really nice and not like the original Tekken type stuff, it's not a good idea to show the render on the box because it makes the figure look less good. Anyway, this guy stands just about 17 centimeters, maybe a touch shy of that. It's going to be about 6 5/8. Here he is up against the Marvel Legends Darwin, so he's a little bit small for 1/12 scale, at least the Marvel Legends version, but he looks pretty good. He is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store, by the way, if you want to get one. I'll put a link in the description below. I'm not sure you're going to want to, though, so make sure you watch the review before you do that. So, question of the day, which version of King is your favorite? For me, there's a little bit too much going on here. I think Tekken 8 that's kind of the case for all of their P1 designs. I think they went too far. It's like this trend in video games where everybody wants to be photorealistic and hyper detailed and everything, and I will take good art direction, good style over photorealism almost literally any day of the week. Let me know how you guys feel about that if you're gamers. I'm just not so into the whole photorealistic thing. To me, it's not really a necessary aspect of video games. I care about good quality graphics in that they are well executed, but I don't need the photogrammetry and everything like that. Anyway, let's talk about the figure. He looks pretty good, except for one glaring issue, and that's this. This is the worst design ever. It's not literally, of course, but it's not good. I don't like his tassels floating up in the air on their own. Unless that's something that happens in the game. So to be fair, I haven't played the game. I don't know. Maybe his wrist tassels float and everything else hangs. It's possible. But I hate that design. They are not actually posable in any real way. They rotate with the wrist, but they still just stick out. So that kills it. Immediately that kills it for me. Now, I'm not tied to King in any way, so if you are, maybe you could look past that sort of thing or just remove them. That's fine too. But as an outsider looking in, I can't abide that at all. Now, there is good stuff for sure, like the paintwork, for instance. They've done a really good job on their paintwork. It's really clean. The sculpt work, there's texturing. The details are splendid. It's a really, really good looking figure in that sense, for sure. I still think the cat face looks a little bit under polished. It needs a little bit more. It looks cheap. But the rest of the figure looks really good. It's nice and clean, and it looks nice. I think the anatomy is really good. The abs look great. The torso looks pretty good. I think he's a little less bulky than he probably is in the game, but it still looks pretty good. Yeah, overall, there's a lot to like about the aesthetic on this guy, but that first thing that I noticed, it's this. These look goofy. And then the second thing I noticed is, what did they do? What was Bandai thinking with this hip situation? Why is there so much gapping everywhere? Can you guys even see it? It just looks really, really unfinished. Don't like that. So, and his skin tone's off. There's nice shading on it, but his skin tone is off. I'm just gonna go 8 out of 10 for this guy because there's a lot of nice stuff to lift it up, but those bad things are really knocking it back down. It's unfortunate. Alright, now as far as accessories go, you get almost none. You just get a few hands as far as true accessories go, and they're done well enough. And then lastly, you get these garbage things, which I'm not even taking out of the plastic. I hate these things. Bandai, you made them too big for the boxes. Every single one of these that I've ever received from Tekken, from Street Fighter, whoever else had them, they're always bent to shit, and they look like crap as a result. And there's a big seam right down the middle because you have to use 2 of them to make your backdrop. If you only included 1, I guess fine. I just think these are the absolute worst, and I'm curious what you guys think. So if you have a comment on that, let me know in the comment section below. But I hate them. Print work is fine. The quality is fine, other than that they're all warped, and you have to use 2 of them, and they don't stand up well. So that sucks. So accessory-wise, I'm just going to go 0 out of 10. For Bandai, this is paltry. This is sad. A few hands is really just not going to cut it. I don't care for it. And of course, 0 is... I'm being malicious with that rating. So you could give it a 2 or a 3 if you want, to be fair, because he does have some hands. Now, as far as articulation goes, the head is on a ball peg. The neck is also on a ball peg, so it moves around pretty well. You're not going to get a ton of range out of the cat head, but it's probably good enough. The cape is on a big old ball peg up here, which doesn't really allow it to do much. And so what I did when I first got the figure out of the package, because I hate the cape, for action figure purposes, I mean, I pulled it off. Like that, and you can do it. It's a little tricky, and it's a little trickier to get it back on, but you can remove it if you want. But you get little ball hinges on there to move these parts, but we're going to set that aside because it sucks. Alright, now for the shoulders, you get, I think it's on a ball peg in there. It's not like a traditional butterfly, but it doesn't seem like you're really getting much range out of this at all. And the way they did the shoulders again, it's the worst design. Stop it, Bandai. Stop doing that. Stop putting a tiny hinge inside a giant shoulder and then trying to hollow out this part to make it work. It does not work. You end up with very limited range and plastic rubbing against other plastic that you don't need to. That's as high as he can raise his arms. As far as using the butterfly joint, forget about it. These things fall off constantly, by the way, which is better than breaking, but they're super annoying. He can't bring his arm around his chest really at all because of the way they've designed this crappy joint. That's the closest you can get right there. So it's really unnecessarily limited, and you would think you could bring the arms back. You can't go back at all. So it's overly limited and overly complex for what should have been a super simple situation. It's just a naked guy. It's just a naked guy. Don't do this. Don't make the joints overly complex. Bicep swivel is okay, but it's offset, so it's a weird... Maybe you can't tell on camera, but the way it's offset, it rotates in a weird way. And I guess that's okay, but it's super weird. Double jointed elbows, 90 degrees. Let's see if we can get a little more. You can get just better than 90 degrees, so that's not great either. These guys are on ball pegs, so they do rotate around. They do look a little bit cheap, though. Like I said, these guys just move around with the wrist. Oh, gosh. It's a ball hinge in there, technically, with a longer straight peg. But it's just... This line is so much feels like an afterthought. Really, really disappointing. So ball peg in here, it doesn't even feel like a double, it feels like a single. And he gets decent enough range for a single, but it's not great range. That's for sure. Rotation is limited, and then at the waist, it's really limited. It's mostly just rotation. There's no excuse for it. And Bandai is just being so lazy and cheap on so many figures lately. Not even cheap, just lazy and poorly conceived. I don't know if they have somebody new in charge of these various departments or whatever, but they're overly complex and they don't pose well. And that's not what action figures are supposed to be. The tail being on a ball hinge works nicely, I'll give them that. Alright, for the hips, look at that segmented mess of garbage. What the heck? It's such a disaster of a situation. That's nuts. And they gave him drop downs. And he's still, like, the drop downs are never for doing the splits, but he can't do the splits. He has less range than Zangief, than the Storm Zangief, which had the biggest thighs ever. So, it's there. He's got some range. And then, kicking forward, Even with the drop down, it still just goes up to just better than horizontal. And then going back, you get very limited range. These hips are terrible. Thigh swivel, of course, is there, and you do get extra range, a little bit of extra range, but it's, ugh. Oh, these hips are bad. These hips make me really unhappy. It's very unpleasant to handle this figure. The knees get decent enough range. I like the way they kind of cheated with the strap. It's not actually a strap all the way around, it stops. But the sculpt and paint let that kind of continue, and it works pretty well. I'll give them that. So that's pretty good to hide the knee joint, but it's not the best knee joint ever. And then for the ankle, it goes back pretty far. It goes forward almost none. And then the ankle rocker is really steep. And the toe hinge is too far back and really, really loose. So his articulation is bad. It's mostly terrible. I'm going to give him, for SH Figuarts, this guy's going to get a 4 out of 10 for articulation. It's really, really bad. I want to look at the box again. Let's see. Did they even show it? I'm guessing they showed a bunch of standing poses. Yeah, they didn't even try. They didn't even try to trick you this time. They're just like, yeah, he can stand and move his arms a little. That's it. That's it. So, yeah, this guy's a big dud. He's much like the other ones, only probably worse, I think. I think if I had to pick, I would just go with Kazuya and never get any of the other ones. I'm going to give this guy an overall rating of 5 out of 10. He does have some things that look nice, but he really can't pose. His accessories suck, and lots of things don't look nice, like the crotch and the floating tassels. So this is really an easy pass if you're not a die-hard fan of this character, and even then, don't you want better? I know you can't have better right now, but only because you're accepting this. Potentially, if you don't accept this, then maybe they sell to someone else who makes a better figure, like Jada or Storm. But this is not it. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Not very pleased at all with this figure. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's it for me. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.